Good morning, seventh graders. Today we've got lesson 5, which is on applications of percents. So we'll start with a couple of vocab words today. And this lesson today revolves around some pretty real life examples, some pretty good real life examples like sales tax, percent of earnings, and commissions. Something you might have to become familiar with someday, especially if you work in an industry that you get commission with. And a commission is basically a fee paid to a person who makes a sale. So, like, for example, a real estate agent, somebody who helps you buy a home. They make a commission. So in other words, if they sell a home, they make a percentage of how much that house cost, which is, if you're selling an expensive home and you make a percentage of that, you make a lot of money. Another example might be like a car salesman. If you sell a brand new truck, you make a percentage of that. And what that does is it gives people incentives to sell more for their company. And I'll write that in there. Gives incentives. Or basically reasons for employees to want to sell more because then they make more money. And then a commission rate would just be a fee paid to a person who makes a sale. So same as the first definition so far, expressed as a percent of the selling price. So basically it's saying, if you made 5% commission, you make 5% of what the total of what you sold really is. All right, let's see a couple examples. We have 3 examples to do today, so shouldn't take us too long. All right, the first one is a real estate example. A real estate agent is paid a monthly salary of $900 plus commission. So that real estate agent, that's a pretty good. You might think, well, $900, that's not a whole lot of money to make in a month. But they get this commission added on top. So last month he sold one condominium for $65,000 and he earned 4% commission on that sale. So he makes 4% of $65,000 plus his $900 of base salary. How much was his commission? So what was his total pay last month? All right, so first we'll find his commission by taking 4% of $65,000. And remember, of in math means to multiply. And it's just giving us this other hint here of take your commission rate, which was 4%, and multiply it by your total sales, which was $65,000. And that'll give you your commission. Remember, when you go from percent to decimal, move your decimal 2 spots to the left. So 4% gave us 0.04. And if we multiply that by 65,000, we will have our commission. Again, it's okay to use a calculator here. So 0.04 times 65,000 will give us 2,600. Wow, that's a nice little commission. And that's just off of a condominium totaling $65,000. Homes these days, I'd say your average home is going for $200,000. So imagine making 4% on that. That's a lot more money. He earned a commission of $2,600 on the sale. His pay for last month would be his commission, his $2,600 that he made from selling the condominium, plus his base salary of $900. He made $3,500 last month, which is really nice, a good amount of money. And so, thinking ahead, there are some of these jobs like being a real estate agent that have their perks of commission, where if you're doing a good job and you're selling a lot, you can make a nice amount of money. All right, moving on to the second example, where we're talking about a sales tax. And we're pretty familiar with sales tax here in Wisconsin. We do have a sales tax on a lot of the things that we buy. And the rate here in this problem is 6.75%. I think ours is about 5.5. It says, how much tax would Adrian pay if he bought 2 CDs at $16.99 each and 1 DVD for $36.29? Right, so first what we need to do is we need to find our total amount for what we buy, and then we find the percentage of that. Okay, so 2 CDs at $16.99. If you take $16.99 and you multiply that by 2, you'd come up with $33.98, plus 1 DVD at $36.29. You are to add those totals up. You would come up with $7, $2, and $70. So $70.27. And now to find the tax on that, you would take 6.75% of your total. So we just need to make our percent, 6.75, into a decimal. So move it twice, 1, 2. We'd have to add in a 0. So that's where they're coming up with 0.0675 times our total price to give us 4.743225. And we don't have to we don't need all these other numbers in the back, because when we're talking about money, we're just going up to the hundredths place. So Adrian would pay $4.74 in sales tax. Now to find the total he paid, you'd take this sales tax and add it to the total price. But it doesn't ask for that, it just asks for how much tax would he pay. All right, on to the last example. And I'm going to start by telling you that the book does it one way, and this one way is helpful to know how to do it, but there's also another way, and so I'll try to show you both here quick. It says Anna earns $1,500 monthly. Of that, $114 is withheld for Social Security and Medicare, which is pretty normal. We're looking for what percent of her earnings did Social Security and Medicare withhold from her check. And so we're thinking, what percent of $1,500 is $114.75? We're trying to find the percent. So we'll use what's called the percent proportion. Okay, and what that is to find that percent, you take n, which is what will give us our percent in the end, over 100, because percents, remember, are out of 100, equals your part, so the amount, and another keyword for part is, divided by your total, and the total that she made was 1,500. So n over 100 equals part over whole. You might want to write that down. That's your percent proportion. Okay. And then from there, it's just cross products. So in other words, we just multiply diagonally. So we take n times 1,500. See how I multiplied diagonally there? And that equals 100 times 114.75. Okay, that would give us just 1,500 n, 1,500 times n equals, okay, to find that, we just need to move our decimal 2 places to the right. That's the same as multiplying by 100. So I would get 11,475. To solve this equation now, I would just divide both sides. Since n is being multiplied by 1,500, I would divide both sides by 1,500 to isolate n. And that would give me, 11,475 divided by 1,500. And when I punch that in my calculator here, I get 7.65. So 7.65% of Anna's earnings are withheld from Social Security and Medicare, right? The other way that I think about this problem is I just keep it pretty basic, and I think here is my part. So I have $114.75, and I'm dividing that by my total, which is $1,500. Okay, so if I took 1475 and I divided that by 1500, I would come up with my total would be 0.0765. And if you notice, this is a decimal, and I'm looking for a percent, so I need to move it my decimal 2 spots to the right. 1, 2, and I get the same thing that I got using the percent proportion. Okay, 7.65. And I just get that by taking my part divided by my whole. It's just like on an assignment. If I said, "Oh, there's a total of 10 problems today," put the number wrong and circle it, and put the correct number over your total. Okay, so 8 divided by 10 would give you a total, if you punch it in your calculator, but hopefully you can do that mental math, 0.8 or 8/10, it's in the 10th spot. And to find my percent, again, I'd move it 2 spots, 1, 2, to get to 80%. So different ways of doing the same problem. All right, that takes care of the notes for today. If you have more questions, go ahead and check out my HRW video tutorials, and I will see you next time.